Next, we will be looking at the rationale of assessments and selection. So when looking at the rationale of assessments, we will be basing it on physical measures, so what you can physically do, what the trainer thinks you can do, what the client looks like. Then we're going to be going over their strengths and weaknesses. So if, say, someone comes in, say they're not as good at cardio or they're better at weightlifting, things like that. It also goes over your goals, so what you want to get out from the training, what you want to look like, what you want to be health-wise, and this can also look at effectiveness. So some things might not work as well for others. When looking at selection of these tests, they're going to include the purpose of them, so there's multiple different tests that test for so many different things, and one might not be good for someone. We're going to look at the validity of the test, the goals of the test, safety measures. Some people with those predisposed injuries or diseases, they might not be able to do certain tests, and we don't want to put them at risk for injury at all. If their comfort level is okay, some people might not be okay with doing certain things, and if the effectiveness of the test is good. When we are testing, there should be a resting test, strength, power test, and speed tests. Another one would be an anaerobic endurance one. We will be looking at an anaerobic capacity test, and along with the last one, an aerobic test. So all of these tests are going to test for several different things, different capacities of the person and what they can do, and that way the trainer can see where they need to go from there and how to help the client. Next and lastly, we will be looking at those tests in depth and I will be giving an example of a few different of those tests and just describing them. So first, there's a cardiorespiratory test. There are many different things that you can do for this, including a 1 mile walk test, or there's a 1.5 mile run test, things like that, mainly cardio type exercises, running, walking. Next, there's a muscular fitness test. This can include things like pull-ups, anything really using big muscles. Next, there's a flexibility test. So that can be using a knee flexion or extension test. This is when we are lying on the ground and extending our legs straight up. That would be the extension, or if we are lying down on our stomachs and bending our knee backwards, or bending our leg backwards, and that knee will bend as well. And lastly, there is a mobility test. So this will include things like an overhead squat test. That is just when you are, for instance, you can grab a barbell, just take it above your head and just do that squat. That way they can look at you, see your capacity with that, see what you can do, and see if you're able to handle that. But overall, that is just a few different things test-wise that the trainer and the client will go through. So the trainer can just see what the client can do, help them to the best of their ability, and just help their goals and things like that. Well, thank you guys so much for listening to my video.